So, that will be a Gladiator Desecrator since they took both Sakari and Reyna on Raven Logic. No surprise there. And yep, everything is as expected, so no surprises here. And since it's not the first game of the tournament anymore, we know that teams have made their loadouts. We don't have to worry about that.
I hope. I ragged on everybody.
Yeah, who knows if somebody just used the default loadout for the first game and is going to keep using it, but I doubt it. I think these teams have done their due diligence. The question is, will due diligence be enough to give Raven Logic a prayer in this game against SG?
Yeah, so going up against SG, you need to be careful level 1 because they like doing very aggressive level 1 strategies. And they also need to play laning phase really safe and try to team fight as soon as possible. Because that Zalgus Ashbel lane, I know they're probably going to try to put that up against the Vex lane, and that's going to give him a really hard time. So Mr. Robbie Titan here needs to try to dodge as many skill shots as possible, live as long as he can, farm up, and become that late game monster.
Yeah, over the past week or so, maybe even longer, I don't know, but certainly over the past week, we've seen SG do what I've heard described as a level 1 cheese, where at the very last minute they send 4 people to contest an enemy buff. So because it's 4v3, the team with 3 people cannot contest the buff, they have to give it up, and it gives SG a massive advantage in the early game, so we'll see if they go for the cheese, if you will, at level 1.
From what I've seen, the cheese is 3 people. I've seen 1 Glad to tack, and then the other Glad stays to leash for cuss. At least that's how I've seen it done, but maybe there's been even more cheese made. Maybe I saw the chatter and you saw the provolone. So.
Right. The provolone is that Cuss takes everyone on the team except for 1 Gladiator to the enemy buff, and they fight and get the buff, and they leave the 1 Gladiator in the far lane.
The Dawn Gate. Open.
So we'll see if they go with that strategy here. They have a number of options available to them.
By SG's already halfway out their base, so SG definitely has the advantage to getting where they want to first.
Yep, a quick start here for SG. As we've mentioned, they're very, very experienced. This team has been around for a long time. For a while, they were known as Wens Para. Before that, they were known as May the Forms Be With You.
30
and
seconds
as we called out earlier in the tournament, they have participated in every single S1cknote Invitational, but they've never actually won the tournament.
So
will we see that change?
Seems to be going a little slowly. It looked like they were going for a 3-2 split to safe ward first, but now they just all ended up meeting up at that armor buff. And looks like SG just 5 minutes of power buff, warded it, and they're still out for blood, so they're going to keep looking around and checking every bush they can.
Yeah, it was fortunate for Raven Logic there that they went into the opposite lane, because if they had gone into bot lane with that late start, they would have gotten annihilated. Well, not literally annihilated in Dawn Gate terms. Or hell, maybe they would have, who knows.
Ooh, I kind of like this from RL. So they snuck all the way around this rock here, and they're going for their own sort of cheese. So they're going to wait for probably bot lane to go back bot, so it'll be a 5v3 top lane, and somebody is bound to walk near that rock any second now. The
cheddar cheese coming out of Raven Logic here.
I like this.
They're going for it. I like the Moxie here. Wow. Avocado leading with that Q. Oh, wow. They do steal the buff. RL beat with a really nice Vanquish. Out vanquishing Cuss, one of the most experienced junglers in Dawn Gate, and now it's exactly the opposite of what we predicted. Level 1 jungle RL is ahead.
You've got Evaniscus and Acids right now pushing the heck out of that bot lane, so they're gonna get 2 waves for free and probably deny 2 waves from RL.
Yeah, I don't think that RL necessarily needed 5 there. They may have just decided to do that spontaneously, and the 5 just decided to stay together.
The cheese was good, but this is definitely going to give them a level disadvantage, especially this Sakari that's just roaming down. She's going to be level 1 once Acids and Evaniscus hit that level 3 mark.
That will be brutal.
Especially against an Ashabel, that's going to be incredibly painful.
Of course, Cuss will be behind here as well, but it's worth noting that Volek has a much, much faster first clear than Freya does. And both junglers are actually going for a full clear. And yeah, bottom lane, you can see Acids and Evaniscus pushing that level advantage and harassing the level 1 Avocado and Sonar. Still only a 1 level advantage though.
Yeah. After Cuss takes his armor buff, we might be seeing him swooping around the bot side to gank, because if you look at the ward placement from RL, they never place the ward in the bottom side of their jungle, so that's an incredibly free gank for Cuss if he finds that path.
Yeah. Of course, he has no way of knowing that that ward is not there, but because of where he's going, he may just attempt to gank through that path anyway.
Yep.
And still only a 1 level lead here for Acids and S1cknote, but they do chunk the crap out of Sonar on Desecrator.
I definitely feel like Sonar's playing a little too forward as Desecrator, especially because he's using his cooldowns and then walking up to auto creep. You never want to do that. You want to use your cooldowns to just wait for them to come back up, because without them, you're incredibly defensive.
Yeah, he needs to be very, very careful when he moves up to farm there, being a level behind and being a melee gladiator. Ooh, Taiga missing the Q there. That might have been a kill, and it may still be a kill. Nicely done. So Fearust gets first blood, and that's exactly who Raven Logic did not want to get first blood. Fearust making a habit out of carrying these tournament games pretty hard.
Yeah, typically when Fearust gets a kill after that point, he really snowballs his lane, and just the kills don't seem to stop rolling in.
Yeah, ever since Surreal Gaming picked up Fearust and Acid, they've done a lot of work. Wow, it's gonna get
that bottom gank. I don't really like the path he took, but was not warded. I wish he swept around all the way and tried to go for a gank around the lane, because they were pushed up past the midway point.
So now we have the roam coming in from Taiga here, but he encounters Beat in the jungle, zips past him, and it'll just be like 2 ships passing in the night.
So after Fearust typically gets killed, SG sometimes does this. Sometimes they might honestly just leave Fearust in top lane and then send everybody else to make plays on objective. So I think every time a buff comes up from this point, Fearust will be left alone, and Taiga will roam with the rest of the team to try and get objectives.
Yep. And despite that early buff steal from Freya, you can see that she's barely ahead of Cuss. They're both level 5 here. So Cuss doing a good job catching up experience-wise, despite the fact that he attempted to gank. Fearust doing a great job with that progress gate, harassing under binding and then getting away scot-free. And you can see that both RL lanes are really struggling here. They're losing both lanes, and really I think their best hope is for RL Beat Freya to come out of the jungle and get a gank going.
I think part of the reason Sonar's having such an issue is I don't think he had loadout pages for this ready, because he's running 21 armor right now on his loadout page, and he's against a double magic lane that has a lot of harass. So that's really fighting in the butt right now.
Yeah, that's rough. You can see Taiga going over to help Cuss a little bit with that small camp. Being a good buddy. Beat is nearby, but he does not want to go in because of how low Script Keeper is. He thinks the gank will be turned around on them, and it probably would be, especially given the fact that Cuss is nearby at Money Pigs.
Yeah, Cuss is level 6 too, which means the next fight is going to be really nasty coming out from SG.
Fearust gets another kill. Script Keeper dropping for the 2nd time, and now that top lane is going to snowball way out of control in SG's favor.
It's a little unusual though. Usually you'd imagine the Vex to be dying over and over, you know, not the tanky Reyna.
Yeah, it's been a tough lane for them overall. Going for a die. Wow, they're going to go on Robbie Titan. He drops. Beat, I imagine, will follow. Fearust needs to get out of dodge. He does. And, okay, well, it's a 2-for-1. Cuss actually did drop in the end, still absolutely worth. I'm sure SG wanted to pull that off flawlessly and have no one die, but nonetheless, they get the job done. And Cuss knows that with strong teammates, he does not need to necessarily carry the game by himself. He can die, he can get behind. As long as Fearust is getting kills, which he is, his team will be just fine. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, one more auto, nicely done. S1cknote blinking in and taking out Sakari. And a really nice Ashabel ult from Acids as well. Nice teamwork there to get the kill.
If you look at SG's composition, when it comes to this Volek diving, the one thing you want when a Volek dives is somebody to hard CC the divey inside of Volek's ultimate, And that's exactly what SG has. They have the Zalgus for the long range hard CC, and Evaniscus also, I'm pretty sure he maxes that chain, so it increases the CC duration. And they have the same thing with Mara, who can also root people under the tower. So holding him that Volek ultimate just makes them take a lot more damage than they want to.
Yep, and if we click on Zalgus, we can see that he is maxing that chain as usual. And right there, Firust and Taiga got the ult out of Vex, so critically that ult will be down next time there's engagement.
Very, very low in that engagement. One more attack from Firust would have killed him.
And Robbie Titan's going to have a tough time defending this binding against 2. Beat might want to consider coming up here. You can also see Sakari was briefly in position to roam, but she backed off. I feel like both of them just thought they couldn't do anything here, but that will mean that the binding will drop. RL has one more wave here. They have one more wave to happen top lane before that binding drops. Reyna will get back to lane in time for Freya to go for a gank.
Press is definitely going to sweep around here and go for another dive.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sonar a little too close to the binding there. They do get some nice damage on him, but he won't die for now. And top lane, they do take the binding down. Freya's coming in, but Vex is already dead. And critically, Beat does not ult Firust, he only ults Taiga, and Cuss is in position to counter just in case. So that's going to be a free binding and a kill, and unfortunately, Raven Logic could not capitalize on that opportunity while the binding was still alive. Evaniscus ults Avocado there. The ult goes down from Acids as well, but Sakari will live.
Yeah, so SG's definitely just going to rotate on that Parasite now and take it. There's not very much RL can do to stop this right now.
Yep, and Cuss got out-vanquished once this game already. Something tells me it's not going to happen again, and SG does pick up Parasite.
RL being split 2 and 2 like this is also very bad. I would not be surprised if Sonar goes down here.
Oh, wow. Taiga missed the Q there, but yeah, it looks like Sonar will drop anyway to a Taiga auto attack. And at this point, even though it's only 7-1, this game has snowballed completely out of control in SG's favor. And I think there will be many more kills to follow. This binding is very low. They're diving Avocado now. He drops very, very quickly. And now it's 2 bindings to 0 in favor of SG.
So now we're going to see SG go for really deep wards and just try to catch out RL at every given moment and try to push their lead as much as possible.
Yep, a lot of map control here for Surreal Gaming. They've essentially claimed 2/3 of the map for their own here after taking both bindings, since Raven Logic has taken none. And they'll even look to harass the Spirit Well workers.
Sonar in the chat telling Beat to just, go farm up. We need Frey to be as strong as possible. And same goes for Vex. Those two people right now probably have the biggest impact in this game for RL in terms of damage. So those two need to try to keep up as much as they can.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here. Raven Logic's best hope will be to delay and to get Vex farmed. But SG is going to push their advantage. They're not just going to sit back and let RL farm.
Yeah, they've been dealing with a lot of harass. You can see it in their CS as well. Robbie Tag on Vex only has 53 CS in comparison to Firust 103 at almost 12 minutes.
Man, Sonar just taking such an enormous amount of damage there. Even though he's building magic resist, he has a balance and a will, and still just getting massively chunked by Ashabel and Zalgus there. Oh wow, and the duress stops Avocado in his tracks. He'll drop yet again, and things are looking grim here for Raven Logic. Oh, a Q and an ult from Taiga will stop Strip Keeper, and Acid will pick up the kill with his ult. Beat will drop Sona, the last one standing. Can Taiga get him and live? He gets knocked up, and the kill will be traded back, so nice job by Sona there, but ooh, Firust takes out Vex in the top lane and lives to tell the tale. So overall, SG doing big things in both lanes and coming out on top there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what RL can do anymore. Their composition when behind isn't going to deal well with how far ahead SG is, especially that they have this Ashabel that's dealing ridiculous amounts of damage, this Volek that can just dive them in between bindings over and over again.
Yeah, SG can keep getting those picks because no Shaper on RL actually has a reliable escape outside of spells. So if they're caught, they're going to stay caught.
I have to say, Sonar's loadout page definitely, like, made his lane a living hell this game. He's got Brawler, which he'll never be able to pull off, because as Mage Creator, you typically don't get close to targets unless you're going for, you know, a full clap QE ult combo to insta-give a squishy, and that armor did not do anything for him, so he essentially is playing with no loadout this game.
Yeah, that's tough. We've seen him get chunked all game long, and now Fearust even taking RL's middle jungle there. Evaniscus and Acids briefly looking for a pick there in the bush, but it was warded by Raven Logic. And it looks like, okay, Beat will get the buff. However, Sakari drops again. And Script Keeper will be the next to follow. And an all too familiar sight here. They're thinking about chasing down Robbie Titan. Sonar in trouble bot lane. And yeah, he'll drop as well. And Beat will be the next one to fall. He will almost certainly die. Ashlabel ult takes care of him. Acids picks up yet another. And Robbie Titan will be the last one on the team. It's going to be a full annihilation, 5-for-0 across the map in 2 lanes for SG.
A mortal binding has been destroyed.
Yeah, SG seemingly being everywhere at once on the map, just picking up kills left and right. I think Arl has accepted that there's not much they can do to come back from this game at this point.
Yep, I like the sportsmanship coming out of Robbie Titan there, saying good kill to SG. But yeah, this is all but over here. Amara ult, just for good measure. They probably did not even need it there.
A mortal binding has been destroyed.
And a bold engage under Guardian coming out of Tyrese, but followed up by an Evaniscus Q and a Volek ult, and RL just gets melted. Surrender is now available to go large team kill difference 15 minutes into the game, so a one-sided affair to say the least here.
Could the rest have gone? No running.
And as we discussed, it's not really a surprise. SG is the #1 seed in this tournament for a reason, and props to Raven Logic for giving it their best shot against the #1 seeded team.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy coming into a tournament for the first time and then seeing that you're up against the first seed. But it should definitely stick around, scrim some other teams, and just try to get the experience that SG has, because they've been around for a very long time now.
Yep. And when SG first started, they weren't winning either. So I hope that Raven Logic doesn't think this is indicative of how every competitive Dawn Gate game will go for them. They drew a tough matchup here in this one.
Has captured a well.
And they're still trying here. They're still trying to make something happen, which I definitely appreciate.
Has captured a well.
Parasite's been up for about a minute here. And I think that Cuss might want to move on to it. He's thinking about it. Oh, never mind. They'll just look for a pick here. Oh no, Avocado did not need to put himself out in the open like that to ward him, and he will drop yet again. So now, Surreal Gaming will take Parasite. 3 people is enough, as far as they're concerned.
This Parasite will give them the HP regen buff they need to be able to push out and end the game.
Yep. We saw Beat steal that power buff early, but he couldn't get this para. Nice try, though. I appreciate the effort. Sonar, he CC's Evaniscus, but not Fearust, and he will tailwind away, perhaps to safety. Script Keeper will try to body block, and does so successfully. However, as you mentioned, SG now with that Parasite buff that will allow them to siege the Guardian and perhaps finish the game.
An update coming in from Waystone Game. Base is currently playing against LTP with a massive 16-1 lead at 14 minutes.
Okay, Based doing what they can to try to stay in this tournament after a disastrous game 1. As we mentioned before, in order for Base to advance to the bracket stage, DI would have to lose at least 1 game in the group stage. If DI goes undefeated, Based is out, which would be a massive upset. I think Based certainly widely regarded to be one of the top 3 teams coming into this tournament. And pretty much everyone assumed that they would get to the bracket stage, but we may not see that. Going back to this game, though, you can see the item advantage at this point is absolutely preposterous. If we just quickly look at the item tab, so many legendary tier items coming out of SG. And Script Keeper looks like he'll fall here as well. Yeah, Cuss pops Symbolic Ult just to make sure. And now it will be a 5v4 when sieging the Guardian. Fearust so far ahead.
Is miraculous.
8-0 now as he gets another kill. You can see the level advantage. SG 3 to 4 levels ahead of their opponents here. And
is dominating.
ooh, Avocado blocks off Fearust and makes him whiff his ult. Getting chased down now by Fearust outside the base.
He's not gonna have his W up for another 7 seconds, so this is gonna be a pretty long chase.
The game may end before Fearust catches up.
The spirit
Aw.
player is miraculous.
So Fearust does find his quarry, and SG wins the game.
The spirit team.
So well
is
played to them.
victorious.
GG to both teams. And SG remains undefeated in their group stage for the time being.